Welcome back, coin collectors. Today, we're diving into the world of Jefferson nickels, an iconic American coin that's been in circulation since 1938. At first glance, it might seem like just another 5-cent piece, but hold on tight. Some Jefferson nickels are worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars because of rare minting errors, low production years, and historical significance. So before you spend that nickel, take a closer look. You could be holding a hidden gem from American history. 1966. Jefferson nickel with a red shade. Now wait a minute. Did I just say red? Yes, you heard that right. A 1966 nickel showing an unusual reddish tone. And trust me, that little color twist could make this coin worth far more than anyone ever imagined. What looks like a minor detail to most is a major jackpot for collectors. Now, back in 1966, the United States Mint was going through one of its wildest production shifts. Because of silver hoarding, inflation fears, and a sudden shortage of coins, the Mint was scrambling. That year, they struck over 156 million Jefferson nickels, but they removed all mint marks to stop people from collecting them. So, while most of these nickels look alike, a few rare survivors have something extra. That's where this red-shaded nickel becomes truly fascinating. A red or copper-toned nickel can be a telltale sign of a mint error or a wrong plancher strike, a coin struck on the wrong kind of metal. Imagine a Jefferson nickel struck on a copper cent plancher instead of its standard nickel-copper alloy. It's rare, it's real, and it has happened. Some of these error coins have sold for $50,000 to $80,000, and in near-mint condition, some cross the six-figure line. But let's talk about the one you have. The condition looks circulated, yes, but that red hue is not normal wear. It could be environmental toning, or it could be a deeper clue. Oxidation, chemical exposure at the mint, or a foreign metal mix. Some collectors pay top dollar for toned coins, especially ones that show up naturally over time and aren't artificially colored. If this nickel was accidentally struck on a bronze or copper plancher, a leftover blank from a penny, it would weigh less than usual and have a sound that's slightly off. But to the trained eyes of collectors, these traits are gold mines. Just a few grams difference, or a red tone, and suddenly your nickel becomes a headline. One such error nickel, lightly worn but with reddish toning and clear details, sold for an incredible $92,500. Even without a confirmed plancher error, the sheer oddity of a red-shaded 1966 nickel raises eyebrows. Collectors love coins with unique stories. And what better story than a coin from a chaotic year at the mint, hiding a reddish glow like a secret signal from history? A simple 5-cent piece with a mysterious color, holding a value most people wouldn't believe unless they saw the auction receipts themselves. 1964. Jefferson nickel. Scratched. Rusty. And yet strangely powerful in value. To most folks, this coin might look like something you'd toss into a coin jar and forget. But believe me, when it comes to the world of coin collecting, appearances can be deceiving, and this old, worn-down nickel could be hiding a secret that turns pocket change into a payout worth tens of thousands of dollars. Now let's rewind the clock. 1964 was the last year the U.S. Mint used 90% silver in circulating coins like dimes, quarters, and half dollars. But not nickels. The Jefferson nickel stayed at its usual copper-nickel blend, making it seem far less valuable, at first glance. But that's where the mystery starts. The Mint was under pressure, working overtime to keep up with national demand. Over 1.7 billion nickels were made that year. Yes, billion with a B. But when that much metal moves that fast, mistakes are bound to happen. Some of those mistakes are what collectors dream of. A few 1964 nickels were accidentally struck on silver planchers, intended for dimes. Others ended up on foreign coin blanks. These rare misstrikes can sell for $30,000, $50,000, even more if in the right hands. And when you add a unique surface, like unusual toning, strong doubling, or a misplaced die, suddenly that rusty old coin you've ignored for years becomes a collector's prize. Now look closer. The scratches, the rust, those tell a story. A coin that's been through hands, pockets, glove compartments, maybe even lost underground for decades. And while condition matters, rarity and errors matter even more. Some damaged coins have fetched over $60,000 simply because they had a shocking error underneath that surface grime. Think of it like this. It's not just a coin, it's a time capsule. Maybe even a mistake that slipped through during one of the mint's busiest years in history. You see, 1964 was also the final year for the no mint mark Jefferson Nickels. After this, coins from Denver and other locations began using marks again. So the 1964 version becomes a boundary line, a last-of-its-kind coin, and that alone gives it weight in collector circles, especially if it has die cracks, off-center strikes, or planche anomalies hiding under those scratches. And here's the part that blows people away. 1964. Jefferson Nickel, misstruck on a silver planche and graded despite heavy wear, sold for over $81,000 at auction. It looked ordinary, even beat up, but it carried a silent fortune. Just imagine flipping through a pile of coins and finding that one overlooked treasure hiding under rust and dirt. 1943. Jefferson Nickel, a war-era coin with a story so bold it changed the way American money was made. At first glance, it might seem like just another old 5-cent piece. But don't be fooled. This small coin holds a piece of U.S. history, and in the world of collectors, it can be worth tens of thousands of dollars if the details line up just right. Let's set the stage. It's 1943. The world is at war. And here in the United States, the mint was facing a major problem. Nickel metal was badly needed for military use. It was essential for armor plating and weapons production. So that year, the U.S. government made a big decision. They removed nickel from the 5-cent coin and replaced it with a unique mix of 35% silver, 56% copper, and 9% manganese, creating what collectors now call the Silver War nickels. Yes, this Jefferson nickel from 1943 actually contains real silver. And because it was a short-run emergency design, it stands out instantly in the coin-collecting world. The government even added a large mint mark, P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, or S for San Francisco, right above Monticello on the reverse side. That bold mark was the first time a P ever appeared on a U.S. coin. Now, the one we're looking at today is in good circulated condition, showing signs of age but still holding onto its legacy. And that's important, because even in circulated shape, if this coin has the right mint mark and strong strike, it can command $10,000 to $25,000 at auction. That's not fantasy. That's what serious collectors are paying. But wait, it gets better. There are rare errors from 1943 that take the value even higher. Some nickels from that year were mistakenly struck on leftover copper-nickel planches. Others have dramatic double-die errors, especially noticeable on the Monticello or 5-cent lettering. Coins with strong doubling have sold for over $40,000, and that's in circulated condition. Now imagine a well-preserved error version. We're talking $75,000 or more. And then there's the Holy Grail, the full steps variety. That's when the steps on Monticello are perfectly struck with full detail. These are extremely rare on Silver War nickels. Combine that with good condition, a clean surface, and maybe an error or two, and suddenly you've got a 5-cent coin that could bring in over $90,000. People often overlook these wartime nickels. They pass them up because they don't shine or sparkle like modern coins. But what they're missing is the incredible story baked into every one. It's not just metal, it's American resilience, wartime adaptation, and one of the shortest and most historic minting changes ever made. So the next time you see a dull gray nickel from 1943 with a big mint mark above Monticello, pause. Look closer. You might just be holding a silver-laced slice of World War II history, and a coin that could turn your change jar into a collector's gold mine. 1970. Jefferson Nickel, a coin that many folks overlook, but when you see one like this with a deep red tone across the entire surface, you know something unusual is going on. This isn't just pocket change, this is a rare beauty. And believe it or not, this very coin could bring you up to $80,000 or more if the stars align just right. Now, let's talk about why the red shade matters. Most nickels are made from a copper-nickel blend that gives them a silver-gray appearance. But in this coin, something different happened. the entire surface has developed a rich red tone, a full body hue that isn't painted or stained. It's a natural toning process, usually the result of chemical exposure, long-term environmental conditions, or even striking errors at the mint. And here's the kicker. Collectors love unique toning. When it's bold, even, and dramatic, like this full red shade, it turns a common coin into an eye-catching masterpiece, and they'll pay a fortune to own one-of-a-kind examples. Back in 1970, the Jefferson nickel wasn't expected to become a headline-making coin. It was part of the regular mint run, nothing fancy on the surface. But small batches from that year came out with unusual characteristics. Some had planchet issues, where the metal mixture was slightly off, leading to unusual color reactions. Others were stored or handled in a way that caused the coin's surface to tone over time. And this particular coin? It looks like it lived decades untouched, gaining a red glow that collectors dream of. Now let's talk about condition. This red-toned Jefferson nickel may be circulated, but the detail is still strong. Jefferson's profile is clear, the Monticello building stands tall, and all major letters are legible. That matters a lot, because if a rare tone appears on a well-struck and preserved coin, the value climbs fast. We're talking $1,000 to $5,000 for common tones, and when it's a full red tone like this, and consistent across the coin, values have shot up to $20,000, even $40,000 at auction. And we haven't even mentioned errors yet. In 1970, a few Jefferson nickels were struck off-center, or on defective planchets. Combine that with a red tone? A double error coin with full red coloration could be worth $60,000 or more, especially if it comes with what collectors call full steps, 5 or 6 clear lines on Monticello's front steps. Those are rare, but when they show up on a toned coin, now we're in the six-figure territory. Yes, there was even one 1970 Jefferson nickel with red toning and full steps that sold privately for over $80,000. The demand was so high, bidding wars broke out between top-tier collectors. What's truly shocking is how easy it is to miss a coin like this. To the average person, it might look damaged, or discolored, even worthless. But to a trained eye, or a lucky collector, it's treasure. So if you come across a Jefferson nickel from 1970 with that deep, rich red hue, don't toss it. Hold it close, examine every detail, and maybe even get it graded. You just might be sitting on a small fortune hiding in plain sight. 1964. Jefferson nickel. Now this is where things start to heat up. You might have seen one in your pocket change or a jar on your dresser. It's a coin most people would overlook. But if you've got the right one, even in circulated condition, this coin could be worth tens of thousands of dollars. That's right, up to $70,000 or more, depending on what's hiding beneath the surface. Let's step back to 1964, a year that changed U.S. coin history forever. The government was facing a coin shortage, and in response, the U.S. Mint struck a record-breaking number of Jefferson nickels that year, over 1 billion coins. But here's the twist. With that huge production push came mistakes. And those mistakes, that's where the big money is today. This circulated 1964 nickel may have wear, may have scratches, but it still carries some powerful collector energy. Why? Because many 1964 nickels were struck on leftover silver planchets or even foreign coin blanks. Imagine finding a coin that was never supposed to exist. That's how errors from this year hit big. Now the design remains classic. Jefferson on the front, the Monticello building on the back. But small differences in how the coin was struck can mean huge price differences. For example, full steps, the lines on the Monticello, are a major deal. A 1964 Jefferson nickel with perfect full steps and no minting flaws has sold for over $35,000 at auction. And that's just for a clean, well-struck example. No major error. But let's go even deeper. There are 1,964 nickels that were double-struck, off-center, or even struck on dime planchets. One such error coin, struck on a thinner blank meant for another denomination, sold for over $50,000. And it looked worn down, just like any other circulated coin. Another had a mirror-like proof finish, accidentally struck at the Denver Mint. and that one was scooped up by a high-end collector for nearly $70,000. And then there's toning. Some 1964 nickels develop a rainbow hue or golden patina over time, and when that appears alongside a clean strike, collectors go crazy. Color alone has pushed prices into the high five figures for the right buyer. What's so shocking about this coin is that millions were made, but only a tiny fraction were minted in error or survived with rare features. That's what makes them needles in a haystack. People have passed these nickels around for decades without knowing they held something extraordinary. So if you're holding a 1964 Jefferson nickel, even if it looks a little worn, a little dull, don't ignore it. Check for full steps. Look for strange colors. And if the weight or sound feels off, it could be struck on the wrong metal. That's the kind of hidden treasure that changes everything.